Hello, boys and girls. The name's Nussbaum, David Nussbaum. And today we have an all British episode for you guys that I think you'll like a little bit. Obviously, I just got out of the opulent Rolls-Royce Cullinan, but right behind me is probably my favorite of the two cars that we're gonna be featuring on the channel today. So of course, we have the Aston Martin DBS. There's a couple of other model years where they had the name Superleggera on it, but recently Aston Martin dropped that altogether. So officially, this is an Aston Martin DBS. One of our many shop cars, I should say, and probably one of my favorites. If you guys follow us on Instagram, you may have seen this car already on a different set of wheels. We originally had a set of HRE 522Ms that were in a full polish, not to be confused with chrome because they did look chrome, but a full polish with a clear coat on top. And now we have the more aggressive Anarchy AN33 performance wheels. Now, let me get into some of the modifications that we've done on this car already, and then I'll touch base again back on the Rolls-Royce Cullinan that is off to Marvin's left. So to my left, V12 twin turbo, which is an amazing power plant. I think this car is extremely underrated. In my opinion, Aston Martin has always been near the top or at the very top in terms of exterior design. I've always been a huge fan of Astons. One day I will own an Aston. And so it leaves me head scratching as to why their values are so low compared to what you get for the car. So once again, a V12 twin turbo horsepower. I don't know it offhand, but I'm thinking it's somewhere in the 700s, probably low 700s if I'm not mistaken. So it could put it head to head essentially to a 812 Superfast, 812 GTS, F12 Berlinetta, cars of that nature. So the wheels, we did the Anarchy AN33s, as you can see, 22-inch in the front, 22-inch in the rear. Up front, we have a 22 by 10.5. In the rear, we have a 22 by 12.5. So in the front tire, you're gonna have a 285 wide. In the rear, you're gonna have a massive 335 tire. Not every day that you see an Aston Martin with a massive 335 wide tire with a 22-inch wheel, but we do it here at Wheelsboutique. Hopefully Marvin will include some sound clips of this car and when Ben was doing some donuts in it, because when you think of a V12 sound, you think of a very high-pitched sound. And when you think of anything with a twin turbocharged, you think of spools and whistles and things like that. This car has both of them. If you hear it from a long distance, you almost think that it's a Ferrari V12, like I mentioned, like an 812 Superfast. But then when you hear it up close and you can hear more of the turbos, it makes all of the right noises. It really does. So in addition to looking like $1 million, it also sounds like $1 million. Some other modifications we did to it just to get this $1 million look is the H&R lowering springs. It was a completely custom kit. When we went to H&R's website, we could not find the DBS or a Superleggera or even a DB11 with an option from H&R. So we ordered a couple, did some little tweaks, and this is how the ride height became. We always like our cars very, very low. We always like our wheels to be as wide as possible and as flush as possible with the bodywork of the car. And that's exactly what we have here, with zero rubbing whatsoever, with zero modifications to the body whatsoever. So no wide body kits, no flares, no cutting of the inner fender liner. It's just a plug and play fitment, and it works with the H&R springs that we did. Another way that we spruced up the exhaust sound was by changing to high flow cats, which we got up front here. It's a really massive undertaking. It's very tricky to remove the factory pipes that have the cats in it, but we did that here with our techs that are very well versed in all of that stuff. And so you've got the stance, you've got the look, you've got the sound. I mean, it's probably one of my favorite cars that we have, probably even more of my favorite versus the Ultimate that we have. Just before I leave this car, I didn't want to get into the finishes for the wheel because I know that people will ask me that. So you have the AN33, the twisted 10 spoke, and it's a satin black center face, and the outer lip is a polished gloss smoke. So it's actually very similar in color to the car, but they're not the same because obviously this is a powder coat, translucent powder coat on the lip, and this is a paint. So powder coats and paints obviously different, but when I see it here, it looks absolutely phenomenal. It is a 3-piece wheel, so you have the assembly bolts completely hidden. You could have those exposed if you want. And then for good measure, we had the carbon fiber center cap from Anarchy. So then the other thing I want to talk about is this Rolls-Royce Cullinan off to my left. Now, you guys have seen Rolls-Royce Cullinans on the channel many times before. They typically have the Novatec wide body kit. That's exactly what this Cullinan has as well. I believe the mileage on the dashboard was about 36 miles. So when I had Marvin have this car for a photo shoot, I asked him, hey, this car just came from Rolls-Royce, directly from Rolls-Royce. I believe the customer hasn't even seen it because he is not located in Florida. And so take a look at the dashboard. If it's got like 1,000 miles, then, you know, you could take it to maybe a mile or two away. But since it only has 36 miles, we literally took it across the street and we got the photos. And those photos will be up on our website, wheelsboutique.com, very shortly. But going back to the actual modifications for the car, we have the Novatec wide body kit, which is of course a huge undertaking. There is multiple pieces on here. It's a brand new lower front bumper. So from this body line all the way down, way more aggressive up front, bigger grills and things of that nature. So we have this fender flare here, and obviously there's going to be 4 of those for each corner, and that connects down to the whole side panel, which is a new design as well, and then connects to the rear fender flares. There also is this little tiny piece that actually is on the physical door. So when this opens up, this little piece goes with it. Sometimes I'll see wide body Novatec Cullinans on YouTube and they're missing this little piece, which makes the kit incomplete, of course, but that's picking nits a little bit. Going back to the rear of the car, again, brand new lower front bumper. So from this body line all the way down, way more aggressive rear. And then you also have this little deck lid spoiler and the roof spoiler, which is very cool. All of these pieces have to come from Novatec in Germany, prepped for paint already. And when you see the paint of this car, this is one that I don't think we've had on the channel before. I looked at the sticker, the window sticker for this car that's on the inside, and the window sticker was north of $500,000. They call this color anthracite. So very simple to remember, just an anthracite finish. I also saw on the spec sheet that it has the picnic tables and the picnic chairs, but I won't open that because we've covered that on the channel before. And then of course we have the lowering links that are fully adjustable. This right now is on its driving height. So there's going to be multiple heights. There's 3 heights on these Rolls-Royce Cullinans. There's the parked height, which means that this can go even lower where there's barely any finger gap on here. And then there's off-road, well, not really off-road, but obstacle avoidance height, which will put this almost like a monster truck and lift it up even more, maybe by another 25 millimeters. And that's to clear obstacles that may be on the road or speed bumps or things of that nature. Right now, again, this is on the driving height. This customer didn't want it to have it so low. If you go to our website and you look at our photo gallery of Rolls-Royce Cullinans, you'll see that most of them are much lower, but this gentleman didn't want to compromise the ride quality in any way, shape, or form. So we have this as the standard driving height. Now going down to the wheels, we have 24-inch wheels, and I have my tech, Edric, that's walking by behind camera. He mentioned to me yesterday that it almost looks small. And I think a portion of that is because of how large the Rolls-Royce center cap, floating center cap, I should say, takes up the majority of the wheel design on the center. So if this was a traditional 5-lug vehicle like the Aston Martin, these spokes would go way further into the center hub area. But since this client, of course, wanted the Rolls-Royce floating cap, we accommodated that. And this Anarchy wheel is called the RF282. I'll let you guys guess what RF means, but 282 is going to be the model designation for this RF series. And the RF series is going to focus on high-end luxury vehicles like the Cullinan. There's going to be way more designs. Right now, this is the very first design in that RF series from Anarchy, and these wheels are custom built to order, so they can be offered in any size, any offset, any width, any color. This color right here is a brushed gloss clear. The customer was also considering maybe a more polished clear, like on the Aston Martin, the H-Series that we had for this car, but I convinced him with the brushed clear and having the Rolls-Royce ring, which is carried over from his factory Rolls-Royce floating cap, in the matching. Then you have the black trim because this is a black badge, so the Spirit of Ecstasy in the front bonnet is going to be black as well. And then for the interior, you have this extremely beautiful tan over black with what I call the crossbone carbon fiber weave on the various door panels, dashboard, and on the bottom here on the entrance that says Cullinan beautifully. And when I was looking over the window sticker, they had the ostrich floor mats, which feels like, again, $1,000,000. And the pillows on the back side. Before we started filming, I almost fell asleep back there. I forgot my lines for this video. But I really love this combination. I'm gonna step away so that Marvin could back up as well, and you guys can see the whole car in its entirety. I really love the anthracite exterior with the tan and black interior. I think that if I was speccing out a Cullinan, I would actually do this interior as well. I'm not a fan of the white interior or the orange interior that I see on a lot of Cullinans. I'm really on this brown interior kick, and this for me looks absolutely perfect. So again, Novatec wide body kit, adjustable lowering links, and the 24-inch Anarchy RF 282 wheels, a 2-piece wheel. The AM33s were the 3-piece wheel, but this thing looks absolutely amazing. And I feel like using this umbrella right now because it's getting a little bit hot in this suit, but I digress. So I want you guys to let us know what you prefer out of these British supercar and luxury car. Which one you like better? Do you like the Aston Martin DBS with the Anarchy AM33s? Or do you prefer the Rolls-Royce Cullinan with the Novatec wide body kit? Also, thank you to Novatec. They just sent us some new gear. You'll see me in another video wearing the new Novatec gear, new Novatec shirts, hats. So if you're interested in that gear, let us know, give us a call. We sell that as well. But otherwise, make sure you subscribe, like the video, comment on it, share with all your friends, share with all your bougie friends that like Cullinans, share it with all your bougie friends that like Aston Martins. And until I see you guys on the next one, remember, I like my martinis shaken, not stirred.